Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. How are you all today? Okay, so I think everyone has attended before. So let's get into it. Today's topic: why go for retreats? How many of you have not gone for retreats before? How many of you have not gone for retreats before? Haven't gone for retreats before. So it is for the three of you that we have this topic. First of all, what is a retreat? Retreats come in many shapes and sizes. Today in Singapore, there are a lot of different forms. In many companies, they also have retreats. Company year-end retreat, or sometimes they have the management retreat. But those retreats are different from Buddhist retreats. So, what exactly are retreats? So, in the Buddhist tradition, a retreat is where we can find the first instance of a retreat is where we can say that it is when the Buddha accepted the request of the monks to have the rains retreat. We can say that that's the first instance of a retreat. In a way, we can also say that when the Buddha abandoned the ascetic practices and then he decided to do his own meditation, we can say that that's a retreat also. So what is a retreat? So a retreat is where, in the Buddhist tradition at least, you withdraw from your day-to-day normal activities, and then you spend more time doing intensive practices. In the time of the Buddha, the monks and nuns, they move from places to places. So on a daily basis, there's a lot of movement. They don't always stay in the forest. They don't always stay under the tree. Many times they do. Then in the morning when they wake up, or in the morning when day has broken, usually they wake up quite earlier. And in some texts it says that the Buddha and the monks, some of them only rest for 2 hours or 4 hours, in the middle. In some cases, like the Buddha, on the night of his enlightenment, it was throughout the whole night. No rest throughout the whole night. The Buddha and his monks, so for most part of the night they will be doing their practice. Then in the day, they would actually go on alms. So when they go on alms, they move from outside the village, outside the city, into the city. Before they do that, they put on their robes. They don their robes. They have to carry their robes before they go in, because in the early days, no monastery. Early days, if you just leave your robes, leave your things on the foot of the tree, by the time you come back a few hours later, all gone. So there are some precepts pertaining to that the monks must carry their things around. It's actually because you cannot leave them around. You leave them around, that's it. So they would go into the village to go on alms. But once they go into the village, then they will see people. They will see people. And then sometimes people will ask them questions. Sometimes people will talk to them. Yeah, they'll encounter a lot of different things. Then when they finish, they will come back to where they were putting up for the night, and then they have their meal. Usually they'll stay for a few days, then they'll move on to another place. Yeah. So in those days, for the most part, a retreat served the purpose for them to stay in the same place in a group to practice together. And when they are having their rains retreat, that's what they do. The purpose of the rains retreat also serves another purpose, which is that during the rains, it would rain for about 4 months. Yeah. So during these 4 months in India, the weather is very bad, heavy torrential rain. Nowadays, I don't know whether the news report, but I remember when I was a kid, every year, monsoon season, there'll be news about India flooding. Yeah, yeah, it's so common. Every year, it's the same thing, the same cycle. And that cycle in the Buddha's time is the same until now. So as a result, what happened? In Singapore, it may not be so easy for us to understand, because only in the 60s and 70s do people wash their clothes. Yeah, 70s onwards, I think 80s, especially 80s onwards, washing machine is a norm. So when washing machine is a norm and our clothing, yeah, I want you to feel your clothes. Try to tear it. Don't tear. Sekali really tear. Our clothes are very durable. In the Buddha's times, the robes are not so durable. If it gets wet, and then they wash it, they dry it a few more times, it will tear. Yeah. If you go to Myanmar, I was in Myanmar for the rains retreat, one of the year, many years back. It rained so much, your robes, they just don't dry. So at some point, some of the seniors, they gave us an advice. They told us, if you find that it's going to rain continuously, soak your robes in the water. Don't bring it up. So why? So if you soak in the water, it will remain wet, but nothing will happen. But if you hang it up, moisture, humidity, wind, air, you will start to have mold. Yeah. When I went there, I had one set of shoes. Then I bought a pair of slippers. Then, because in Myanmar they wear slippers, so my Chinese monk shoe was wet because rain ma. Then I put outside my kuti to dry. Then I didn't check. After a few days, mold, one layer of mold. Yeah, it was really bad. So the rains retreat served this purpose. Yeah, for us not to travel so much. Yeah, so that we don't have to, our robes don't get wet. Yeah. Today, to appreciate this, you really need to be staying in an irregular place to appreciate why having such a retreat and arrangement is needed. Yeah. So after the Buddha allowed such a practice, then once a year they will practice the rains for 3 months. There are 3 months, the front 3 months and the rear 3 months, 前安居, 后安居, because the seasons, there are 3 seasons, 4 months each. So 4 months, the first 3 months or the last 3 months. Yeah. So during that period, we will not move around. Yeah. But fast forward to today, most monks stay put, isn't it? Yeah. In fact, nowadays, if you don't stay in a monastery, sometimes devotees have question mark, how come you're not staying in a monastery? But in the Buddha's time, monks don't stay in monastery also. Yeah, even the first offering, one of the first few offerings, like the Anatta Pindika's Park. Yeah. Now when we think about it, over the centuries it became what we call a monastery. Yeah, but in the early days it's just like a park like that, you know. Yeah, and there may be monks, you know, under this tree, under that tree. Yeah, so during the rains, eventually the Buddha allowed them to build temporary shelters. The shelters is not so nice like that. Yeah, it's just some maybe branches, leaves. You know, they before the rains come, they prepare and then they set it up, and they just use it for that 3 months. After 3 months, it's torn down, yeah, or it's worn down. That over time developed into short-term, long-term shelter, and those shelters eventually developed into what we call monasteries today. Yeah, so retreats serve such a purpose also. Yeah, in those days. Besides that, there's something else that we do after the end of the retreat, which shows us what is being done during the retreat. At the end of the retreat, the Sangha will come together, and we call it 自治日. So it is where the monks, the Sangha, will come together, and then we'll take turn. Yeah, each person will come forward, and then the community would give their comments on the person. Yeah, the person will report on what they have learned, how they have practiced. In the Buddha's time, you see them going to the Buddha and reporting to the Buddha. Yeah, some of them would declare for these 3 months they have practiced and they have attained first jhana. Wow. Some would declare they have attained second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. Some of them will report that they have attained sotapanna, sakadagami, anagami, or arahanthood. Wow. And then the Buddha would usually affirm in silence. Sometimes the Buddha would highlight that those monks, they have made the claim out of overestimation. Yeah, that means they overestimate their own achievement. They sit, then they thought, wow, first jhana, actually fall asleep. Maybe. Sometimes we have this kind of experience. So the other thing, so this is reporting. Then the other part is the other monks, senior monks, will also advise the individuals, especially the juniors, the areas they should look into, the areas they should improve. Now, of course, in between, it is also an opportunity where, because the whole, not the whole Sangha, it's not that all the monks in India all assemble together. Yeah, but whoever happened to be in that area, they will assemble and practice together. So in this way, they have a chance to meet a lot of senior monks. Because they don't have a fixed routine, you know, in the Buddha's time. They go from places to places. Unless you are practicing, your immediate preceptor is one of the senior monk, yeah, then you get to learn from that person. Otherwise, you have to wait for like once a year, then you know you see a lot of other seniors, then you can listen to a lot of people give talks. In the past, you can see from the sutta, they don't every day see the Buddha, they don't every day see senior monks who can give Dharma teachings. Not every week there's Dharma teaching one, you know. Yeah, so I think we should cut back. Too much Dharma talk. So, yeah, so during the retreat itself, they do intensive practice, and they have a chance to have access to teachers, yeah, those who are more senior, those who have done more practices, or those who have attained jhana, those who already have attained enlightenment. Even those who have attained enlightenment, they continue to go for retreats. It's not that those who attain enlightenment, they just, can I get hey, how? You're going for retreat? Keep it up. Then the enlightened one just, can I get shake leg? No. So, fast forward to today, what does retreat mean to us? Except for the few of you, the rest of you have gone for retreats. My first retreat was in 1990 or 1991. That was the 8 Precepts retreat. It was held in Longshan Si under Venerable Guang Ping. For the most part of the day, we're actually not in the monastery, not in the temple itself, because it's very small. We actually spend, we actually sleep in the classroom in the Mituo school next to it. It's the old one. I think now it's already leased out to other organization. But we would have, I think, our morning puja over there. Then most of the practices is done in the school hall. For me, it was, I also don't know why I go, you know. Simply because my mom told me there's a Pakuan Zai, and then asked me, want to go? I said, okay. And then when I agreed to readily, she was like, she told me that, oh, but you have to observe noble silence, you know. I said, okay. Yeah. She didn't use the word noble silence. She said 止语. That means you cannot talk throughout the whole retreat. I said, okay. And she was quite surprised because at home I always talk. And then she told me a bit more about the retreat, that you cannot have dinner. And I said, okay. Can I watch television? Okay. Then she's quite surprised, like, huh? At home you just, you know, keep talking and then play. Then ask you to go for a retreat, you just say, okay. It was quite easy for me, actually. I actually don't know what was so difficult about it. You just go. Yeah. I don't know whether, I think comparatively, the retreat is comparatively tougher than most other retreats that you would see today. Tougher in the sense that it's quite relatively strict. Yeah, relatively strict. The schedule is Saturday night. Saturday after dinner you go in, check in. No dinner provided. When you go in, they have the 洒净, then 开示, then 拜愿, the repentance. Then after that, 止净, yeah, 安板. So then you stop. It means you go in, there's the what do you call that? Something like consecration, purification ceremony. Then followed by the Dharma talk, followed by the repentance. Yeah. And then after that, wash up and rest. The next morning, early in the morning, you wake up, morning puja, then you have breakfast, then you 正受, yeah, observe the 8 precepts. Then it's the start of the whole day's program. Until I think about 9:30, 10, thereabout. That's why when you come for urban retreat, then some students like, Sư Phụ, 8 o'clock, 7:30 cannot. I'm like, well, 8 o'clock already very early, you know. Yeah. And if it's over a few nights, anyway, you are here already, you know. Might as well make good use of your time. Because you see, the trouble is, in those days when we have a retreat, it's a bunk version. That means everybody just go to the hall, yeah, and all of you just sleep on the floor. Nowadays, when we organize a retreat, you all sinang no, you all have your own double room. Some of you even ask, can we pay more and get single room? Huh? Retreat still ask for double room, single room. Yeah, when we had a retreat, it was, I mean, all the guys would be in one of the classroom. Some the ladies will be in another classroom. Yeah, people snore. What? You have to get used to it. That's a retreat. You have to change yourself. You have to acclimatize to the environment. And you cannot say, oh, I want to do more practice. Time's up. You got to go. You got to go. The Hufa will deal with you. Yeah, you don't want to sleep, right? 跪香. You don't follow instructions, right? Go to kneel until you are satisfied. Then you go and sleep. Yeah. But that particular retreat, no lah. Everybody was very orderly. Yeah. It was pretty much silence throughout, except in the morning. You know, early morning. Then all the auntie 掏炸起来 bake kun, you know, then have to take this, take that. Then a lot of the plastic bag sound. But other than that, it was quite okay. You know, just do a lot of chanting throughout the whole day. Morning, I think morning was 八佛, then 十小咒, then 供斋, the 供养祭, yeah, then 用斋, then throughout the day, a bit of Dhamma talk here, chanting there. The meditations are very short, yeah, because the traditional Bhagwan Chai, just pockets of meditation here and there. Of course, I mean, depends. Some do that. Yeah, so depending on the temple, yeah. Traditional, when I say traditional, I mean like in recent time kind of traditional. The Chinese Mahayana retreat is mostly chanting throughout the whole day. Yeah. Don't worry, there are a lot of things to chant. Yeah. You almost don't repeat anything. Whole day you can have something new for you to chant, don't worry. Yeah. And then like just now when we do our offering, just so short. The traditional one is not even the one that we chant. The one that we chant is just a 供养祭. Then have 上供 some more leh. Beforehand have to 念上供 leh. Yeah. Yeah. So while the practice itself, yeah, the practice itself may differ. What are you doing? Stop disturbing the ants.
No, the ants is crossing, so I'm giving way. I'm doing cross finish already there.
You're gonna step on it.
Down. I won't. See, it's crossing. You're disturbing it.
It just want to crawl over you. You don't let it crawl over you.
See here.
Pay attention to the Dhamma talk. Don't pay attention to the ants. Yeah, lor, so you should admit that the ants were biting you, ma. You say the ants want to cross.
I don't blame the ants.
So anyway, yeah. Now, then there are those who go for the Theravadan retreats. Yeah, the Theravadan retreats would also have chanting, Dhamma talk, meditation. In a way, more spread out. I didn't get to attend Theravadan retreats back in the 90s or 80s. The one that I see in after 2000, I think it is adjusted, somewhat adjusted to suit Singaporeans. So I won't go into details but I think Singaporeans cannot take too much hardship. So it's adjusted. Yeah, so you go and figure out how it's adjusted. But I think it's not just Theravadan retreats. Mahayana retreats also, some of it get adjusted. I remember we used to go to some centers for puja. Then these 2 hours of puja, just from start to end, or sometimes 2.5 hours of puja. Yeah, because from morning 9 o'clock you chant all the way until lunchtime, and the lunch is not like 11 o'clock, it's 12 o'clock. So easily 2.5, 3 hours of chanting until 我攰了啊 then okay 来吃饭吃叉米粉 then eventually the starting time become later, 9 o'clock become 9:30, 9:30 become 10 o'clock. Yeah. Then some of the centers started having puja at night. Then initially was like maybe 7:30 or 7 until 9. Then later become 7:30. Then later become 8 o'clock. Eventually only like 1.5 hours or so. Yeah. I remember very vividly, one of Venerable passed a comment. He said, 我们调整时间就是为了你们说上班然后没有时间，所以缩短。本来是2个半钟头，缩成2个钟头，缩成1个半钟头，现在快要变成1个钟头你们还不来那你们不来，那我们就不要办，我们自己念something like that. Yeah. And in the past, the puja is 初一十五, no. It's not weekend, you know. So if 初一 is Tuesday, you jolly well Tuesday, somehow you find your way there to join in. So as a result, last time usually during those days, the puja, the 1st and the 15th of the lunar calendar, right, it's usually the mother and the grandmother bring the kids. Yeah, because the guys are all weekdays, weekday at work, who is going to go? Otherwise, it's the retiree. So back to retreats. Then we have Tibetan retreats. Actually, Tibetan retreats can be quite varied also. But the ones that most people are accustomed or familiar with is usually the Om retreat. Yeah, the Om retreat. So you go in, and then you have a whole series of chanting. I was exposed to the Tibetan practices in the late 80s, late 80s. Yeah, my sister was in university, and then one of the American nun was in Singapore for quite a number of years. So attended some of the teachings and so on and so forth. Actually, if you go for the full set of teachings, Tibetan retreats are not just doing Om chanting. Actually, a lot of things to be done also, in all the different traditions. Yeah. So most people, when we go for retreats, it's actually just a teaser. In a way, it's just a teaser. Yeah, because like we organize urban retreats, sometimes 1 day, sometimes 2 days, sometimes 3 days. Like so far, the longest we organize is 7 days. Yeah, and then some students, wow, 7 days. 7 days retreated, then go back already, you know. Yeah. Usually for a 7-day retreat, you take about 2-3 days to settle down your mind. Then on the 3rd or 4th day, then you start to have some, in a way, experience. Yeah. And for most people, because it's something very new, then you spend the next 2 days getting excited. And then supposed to observe noble silence, you don't observe, then you start to, wow, so excited, then you kind of talk to people about your experience. Then you spend the next 2 days talking, so all you do is talk about the experience, no more experience after that. Then final day, oh, 登处了. So you go back feeling very good. Wow. Yeah, but still better than nothing. Yeah, because it's just like on Monday, one student for the meditation class asked. He asked about how he can proceed because he's not getting any joy from meditation. He said that he's suffering during meditation. And then he get frustrated, and then he feel like stopping. He say how? So when we go for retreats, it's helpful because usually we don't spend enough time in our practice, you know. Even for the meditation class, for this second series, I put in the requirement that you must sit at least half an hour a day. Otherwise, get out of my class. Yeah. I think for some of them it comes as a surprise because they are new to meditation. And even for some of them who have been attending my classes, they may feel surprised also because all these years I never put such requirement. I just say, try to sit, try to sit. Yeah. But if all you do is try but you never do, you will not get anywhere. I don't say that you're not doing anything, but just plant wholesome roots for future life. If you want to have some results in this life, you must reach some critical mass. So in a way, in a nutshell, going for retreats give us that opportunity. Because for most people, less those who are retired. Those who are not retired, how many people have time to meditate 4-5 hours or 8 hours a day? Just hearing 4-5 hours. And even for those who are retired, some devotees that we have met in the past tell us, 师父, you are very fortunate. Wow, you all get to ordain under master. We also want, but we are not ready. So what are we waiting for? When we retire. When we retire, we will have time. Then we always laugh. We say, in that case, you will never ever practice. Why? Because if you cannot even get started now, by the time you are retired, you don't know what to do with the time. You know? You are not in. It takes time to build up that momentum, build up that habit, that regime of doing practice. It's just like if your whole life you are just busy working, then suddenly you retire. Then we say, hey, go and play golf lah. Then you will feel very odd, you know. No lah, go and play badminton. If your whole life you don't play badminton, 65 years old, 70 years old, suddenly ask you to go and relax yourself. You don't know how to relax, no? Every day you wake up. You must find something to do, no? So in the same way, if a person don't do regular practice, or learning Dharma, and suddenly 70 years old, retire, oh, 师父, when I retire, I will come more regularly. Can lah, we wait lah, we see. Impossible. So going for retreats is helpful, because on a daily basis, our time that we commit to the practice is limited. So when you go for a retreat, you commit a block of time. And that's why during retreats, last time in the retreat, we don't collect handphones because there were no handphones. No handphones to collect. In the 1990s, pager lah. Some people have pager. But you dare to go and check your pager? You dare? Wow, jialat, I tell you, 桂香 confirm. The 纠察 confirm. 来，起来。长贵合掌。Last time when we were having a meal with, should I say that venerable's name? No, actually he's fine, Zhang Hui Fa Shi. I have a lot of respect for him. So I was in my 20s. So during the meal, then my friend paged me. Then I just very casually, chick. You know, you're then I just very casually, tuck. And then like once or twice. And Zhang Hui Fa Sư noticed. Yeah, then after that he commended me on that. He said, 这个小孩，你看他，他的 BB 扣响了2次，他都不回，他看都不看，他就按。So embarrassing. Yeah, but that's how it was in the past, you know. Yeah, even though there's pager, you don't. 师父坐旁边，你敢答出来？吵死我！Nowadays sometimes, I mean, here very open and only a few. You all don't dare to check your handphone. Sometimes during SGC, I see some individuals sit on the chair, then down there. Then 师父 talking, then still nodding away. But we also have to give people credit. They still act like they still put in effort also. Yeah. So why do we go for retreats? Generally we say, once you have realized, you must realize that your daily practice is insufficient. Yeah. Once you realize that, then you will want to go for retreats. And when you go for retreats, you will put in the effort. Sometimes some people go for retreats because their friends ask them to go. Yeah. So when we started off having retreats more regularly, or started organizing retreats on our own 3 years back, some of the participants, they go because all Dharma friends ma. Then when they go there, the mood is quite nice I must admit. Yeah, very happy. Yeah, like going for chalet. Yeah. Then when Shifu, whenever there's a break, they are very respectful. Quickly usher Shifu out to go to rest. Yeah. Yeah, so that they can have havoc after that. The moment I walk out, wow, no more noble silence. Then I don't know, for a few retreats. Until one day, one student reflected to me, say, do you know that every time when you go out, then, wow, the whole hall chaos, you know. And I said, really? Yeah, you don't know. And I said, yeah. I said, yeah, when you go out, then they start taking selfie. Yeah, they start talking. Then some of them start giving massage to each other. But that was 2-3 years back. Yeah, so eventually I decided, cannot. Yeah, during breaks I will still stay in the hall. Yeah. Yeah, then everybody may sit down already. Yeah, then they go outside and chit chat. Yeah, but so some who are more serious about retreats, when they come for retreats and they see this, they feel a bit how do I put it? They may come for one or two more times, but then they stop coming. Yeah, because those who are serious, they don't want to come to attend such a retreat. Yeah, because the whole point, remember I said, there are those who realize that their daily practice is insufficient. Yeah, and especially when it's a one-day retreat, only that 12 hours, you know. Then when 12 hours come here, then you know, Sifu walk out, then start go, then wapiang. So some of them decided, okay, don't waste that time. Yeah. So that's why after that, I'm a bit stricter. Yeah. And that's why when we go for retreats, although today's topic is about why go for retreats, it's also good to learn about what kind of attitude we should have when we go for retreats. Yeah. Don't take it that, but because you all know Shifu quite well, or you think you know Shifu quite well, yeah, or Shifu every time, you know, seems to crack jokes, or, you know, always smiling, never scold you all, never ask you to 长跪合掌, then you all take it easy. Yeah. But the truth is, and then when you go for other retreats, then you go out for other retreats, then you are serious. Yeah. You must know that whether Sifu enforce it or not, when you disturb others in their practice, you are disturbing others in their practice. Yeah. If let's say at work you disturb your friends, you disturb your colleagues, their impact. But because your colleague is doing something worldly, the impact maybe is like that. Maybe it affects his work. Maybe he might get fired. Maybe he may have to do OT. That short-term impact. But if a person is trying to practice, and then you disturb that person's practice, knowingly or unknowingly, doesn't matter. As long as you disturb, you disturb. Of course, if you intentionally, Zhou Bing want to meditate, I go and chit-chat with him, then jialat. Or Zhou Bing think, Lao Zhang want to meditate, I go and disturb her. That's very bad. Of course, they never disturb each other. So when we go for retreats, we must have the right attitude. So it doesn't matter which retreat you go to. It doesn't matter whether other people want to talk or not. Don't talk. Sometimes I tell some students off. They say, "Hey, Shifu, how come some of them keep talking?" Then I say, "I also see you talk, what?" Then they say, "No, Shifu, they talk to me, ma." Then I say, "Well, so people ask you to do, then you do, Now we must have self-discipline. But even when people talk to you, you should noble silence. This is the only time you can be rude in this sense. People will not blame you. You are in a retreat, ma. When I was in the US, it's like perpetual retreat every day. And even then, I find the conversation with people so disturbing. There were a few months I put on a tag, 静语. That means silence. To what extent? Even when we go on errands, when we go down to we go to town, go to the small town nearby to buy things. Don't talk means don't talk. Then it was quite funny because there was this physician who would come to give us assess, like diagnosis, like regular treatment, checkup. So he's a TCM. So when we went over there, from the monks campus to the nuns campus, I was still wearing that tag. So I sit down there. Then when it was my turn, I went over. Then he asked, 怎么样子啊? Then I don't know what he think. Maybe he feel that 我来踢馆的哦，来看病，然后不要开嘴巴，不要考他。然后你大夫，你这么厉害，你把脉应该知道哦。Then he say， 我看你有点忧郁症。No lah, no 忧郁症。I think he was kidding me. So when you go for retreats, go with the right mindset. Go there to really dedicate that time. If it's a one-day retreat, that 12 hours, 14 hours, you must be in charge of your time. Be in charge meaning what? Not in charge in the sense that you want to do what practice you do. Then Shifu say, okay, now we go for walking meditation. Then you, no, I'm in charge. Once there was a Shifu who said, we must be in charge of our time. I don't get. No, it means don't waste your time. Follow the schedule. You must follow the schedule. When the retreat arranged for you time to rest, you must rest. When it's time for you to practice, you must practice. When Shifu say, this session, don't move, then you must put in effort not to move. Sometimes I see students during retreat, right at the beginning, first few hours, wow, chong until afternoon. Yeah. Then lunchtime supposed to rest, let them rest, don't want. I meditate. Then later, 2 o'clock onward. Yeah, when it's time to rest, you must rest. Yeah, so putting in all this effort, what is the benefit? This is part of the why go for a retreat. Yeah, there are some benefits, of course. If you go for retreats, then you get to put in that time, and as a result of putting in that time, you can improve on your self-discipline, you can improve on your practice, yeah, and you can experience what meditation is about, yeah, more clearly. Why? Bumblebee. 归佛归法归僧，要怕它。It's okay, don't worry. 归佛归法归僧。Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah. So, 你听课，你不要去听他的。老庄都不。
它会咬人。
Bumblebee 采花的，不是咬人的，采花蜜。然后有没有听过？有没有听过说蜜蜂嗡嗡嗡嗡咬人？没有吗？除非你去攻击它，它才叮你。它最多也就是叮你，它不咬你的。蜜蜂啊。Yeah. So if you find that your sitting is not getting anywhere, go for a retreat. Yeah, go for a retreat. You can have some improvement or some experience of improvement. Important thing is just an experience of improvement. Because unless you maintain it, it's easily lost. Especially when you go for short retreats, like 7 days, 10 days. These are short retreats. In the Sangha, our retreats is usually going by number of months. Yeah. So in US, once a week we have 1 day of sitting. We don't call that retreat. It's just part of the practice. So year end, this December, have you all signed up? December, 2nd week of December, 9 to 15, Monday to Sunday. And there is a 7-day option, there is a 3-day option and 2-day option. Yeah, either you go for 7 days or go for 3 or 2 days, no 1 day. Go St. John Island. Yeah, St. John Island, you take a bumboat in, 9 plus take in, then 5 plus take out. Yeah, don't waste time. Yeah. Okay, any questions? Wow, 准 3 o'clock. 开玩笑。No, 2:59 to be precise. Yes.
I happened to came across your last talk where in this school is there 2 safety songs. That talk I happened to go to the YouTube. Very interesting. But ending part you says that we talk to our students who says that those who want to know about Pure Land, you all stay back. So today I was curious, where is the talk about the Pure Land? 3 o'clock already.
Come next Sunday.
Come next Sunday.
You know about Pure Land, you come back to me. So I also thought about Pure Land also with this also. Just to me, that's the wonderland.
To you, just Wonderland.
我以前没有听到漂亮的东西。
哦。
我意外听说是我没有记错的话，好像就是是然后它有漂亮哦。because I happen to came across one of the caption by one of the YouTubes, no, the Angmo to say where is the Pure Land, because at the gate now he was locked up. So he asked for Army for the door is not open. But the caption I came across this one, so I was curious, come back to my mind, you see, and I listened to your this talk. You don't mind I bring up this again now.
So what is your question?
I say what's the Pure Land?
What is Pure Land?
Yeah, I also don't know what is Pure Land. Because the guy of the caption, I see what the caption I show you all. You don't mind hold me a second. Where I say,
oh, you want to show me some?
Yeah, never mind. Long ago, I don't remember.
Long ago?
Yeah. One the caption, no? Cartoon, no? Not cartoon, like
Cartoon.
Cartoon. I can't remember when. Never mind, so we go ahead first. I see where I can find.
If I go ahead, then you ask the question, and then you are checking.
No. Because I have the whole caption of the pictures. So
okay, yeah. Then you want to listen?
Yeah.
Then I talk lah.
Yeah.
Then you don't check.
Yeah. That I was curious to know what
okay.
it is like.
So, Pure Land practice is mainly found in the Mahayana tradition. It has its basis in the Lotus Sutra, and also in the Avatamsaka Sutra. In a few of these main Mahayana Sutra, in the Sutra, then is described various Pure Lands, in faraway world system. So, when these Pure Lands are described, then it talk about how presently we have Sakyamuni Buddha, right? And Sakyamuni Buddha has already passed away. But in the Buddha's time, he has not passed away yet, But so he talk about how there are Buddhas in other worlds, and in each of these world where there is a Buddha, surrounding this Buddha would be a huge assembly of Bodhisattvas, all practicing under him, under the respective Buddha. And such a place where there is a Buddha is known as a Pure Land. 净土. So, 净土 in a way as opposed to 秽土, 净秽, so pure and impure. So we may think of it as, oh, our land is not so clean, so got the soil dirty like that. No, it's not about that. It's about how those who are reborn here, the conditions for practice is not good. The conditions for defilements to arise is plenty. Whereas in Pure Land, the conditions for wholesome roots to arise is plenty. The conditions for defilements to arise is zero. No conditions for you to have defilements arise. So as a result, only wholesome roots arise there, making it a very conducive place to learn and practice. Most notably, in the Buddhist tradition, the Amitabha Sukhavati, should be Sukhavati, 极乐世界. So this sutta in the Amitabha Jing talk about the features, the details of such a Pure Land. There are other sutras that describe other Pure Lands, but the one that is most famous is the Western Pure Land. Sometimes we may think that, so in the Western direction only one Pure Land. No. In fact, in the Amitabha Sutra, it talks about how in the Western direction there are multiple Pure Lands. And the one that is listed is only just listing a few. There are innumerable Pure Lands in each direction, in all the 10 directions. Western Pure Land is just one which has strong conditions with us. So then the question is, why is is it mentioned, yeah, for us to know about Pure Land? So the Buddha mentioned about Pure Land because for those who want to cultivate, that place is very good. In a way, your question is related to the topic, because Pure Land is just like a retreat center. Except that it's on a world system level retreat. Like imagine when we conduct a retreat, sometimes we have 60 person turn up, sometimes we have 80, sometimes we have 100. That's a very small number. Yeah, in China, in other countries, easily 1,000, 2,000. Many years back, there was a student. She told me that she was helping out with the Goenka retreat. Then when they organized, one year she said only about 1,000 odd turned up. Then I was like, 1,000 odd only? Then she said, 我们中国国大人多. Yeah, that when they organize a retreat, you know, easily can have a few thousand person turn up. Yeah. Now imagine, okay? Imagine just Earth itself. On Earth, how many people are having retreat at the same time? No, we never have retreat at the same time. Why? Because on Earth, all the inhabitants have different thinking. We all have different thinking. Even Buddhists, we have different thinking, different mindset. I want to do this, I want to do that. I don't agree with you, you don't agree with me. Yeah. But when you go for retreat, different ma. Everybody follow the teacher or the teachers, practice in one same direction. So a Pure Land has this feature. Everybody who go there must fulfill some criteria. Your direction must be the same, just like going for a retreat. So those who don't have the same direction, they won't sign up ma. Yeah. But of course, in real life, sometimes people have different direction, they still sign up. Then they go there, hey Shifu, how come you don't teach this one? How come you sign up for this? But for Pure Land, it's different. If you don't have the same direction, you cannot get reborn there. So a lot of people think that, oh, I just chant Amitabha, 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 then I get. Maybe, maybe not. Depending on whether when they are chanting, the direction is the same as the Buddha, as the Bodhisattva. And what is the direction? The direction is that you have the aspiration to learn and practice the Buddha Dharma, to attain Buddhahood for the purpose of liberating sentient beings. So in the past, the earlier English translation was Western Paradise. So now when we look at it, it's clearly wrong. It's clearly wrong. Yeah. But last time when I start to be more aware, I feel like, how can they translate it this way? But now when I think about it, I'm actually quite grateful. Because although it was, to us now, is imperfect, but if they didn't do the first translation, we probably will never get started, you know. Yeah, and a lot of English-speaking people will not even learn about the teachings. So although the earlier translation, now in hindsight, we feel that Western Paradise, not correct lah. Goddess of Mercy, what is that, man? Yeah, it's Avalokite Swara Bodhisattva. Wow, like macam very sad like that. Yeah, but without that translation, we won't even come in contact. So we should not be so, in a way, harsh on it. But we should still learn the correct meaning. So the Pure Land, the word Pure Land is more literal, yeah, but to me it captures the meaning. So just now we talked about why go for a retreat. If we extend to this question, then why go to Pure Land? It is when you find that this Pure Land that we are staying in we are not able to practice. If you find that you are not able to practice effectively yet, then you can aspire to go to another Pure Land. We are in a Pure Land, you know. Yeah, we are in a Pure Land. You know whose Pure Land this is? Not Chuan Guan Pure Land. No? Yeah, this Pure Land is Sakyamuni Buddha's Pure Land. In the sutra it says, yeah, when the trouble is our defilements is too strong, so we don't see the Dharma. You look at the Pure Land Sutra, Amitabha Sutra, it says, over there, even the birds, when they sing, they chirp, yeah, it speaks of the Dharma. Then, 昼夜六时, you know, there's the wind blowing, the 兰顺行树, whatever. Then, even the wind blowing through, you know, the sound of the wind whistling through the leaves, you get reminded of the Dharma. When I was in Myanmar, I have ironically, it was in Myanmar during that retreat, I have a deeper appreciation of that teaching of Pure Land, and gave me an appreciation that we are in Pure Land. You see, you look around, we see trees, we see leaves, right? What did the Buddha teach about ultimate reality? The Buddha said, Sabbe Sankara Anichati. All conditioned phenomena is impermanent. Sabbe Sankara Dukkati. Yeah, that all compounded conditioned phenomena is suffering. And Sabbe Dhamma Anattati. That all phenomena is no self. Hey, we have to learn Dharma, then we attend Dharma class, then we hear about this, no? Correct or not? Yeah. It's not like we primary school, then we just Sabbe Sankara Anichati. No. No. But now when you look around, is this chair compounded? Yes. Is it impermanent? Yes. Oh yeah. The chair is telling you Dharma, no. But we only look at this chair, and we look at the surface of the chair, we look at the color. Yeah, this chair looks so old, like moldy. Then people write Sean here. Yeah, no cushion one, not nice. Yeah, not nice. What is not nice? Suffering. Then we don't see. Then we just say not nice. Then we complain. Weather so hot. No. Just now, Sifu say weather good. Got wind now, no wind. Impermanence. You know. Yeah. So in the teaching it says we are in Pure Land, not false, you know. Everything we see is telling us about the three universal characteristics. But whether we have the wisdom to see. Yeah. So that's why 祖师 say, 心净国土净. Yeah. That means if you purify your mind, then you are in Pure Land. But if you follow your defilement, then you are in 秽土. Yeah. Then everything is 不如意. Yeah. Then got problem. Problem here, problem there. Yeah. Okay? Okay. So, I finish at 3. Any other questions? Yeah. If not, Lock John, prepare for them to sign up, for them to register for UR 13. Those who don't register cannot go back. Yes.
闭关 is it retreat?
闭关 is also considered retreat. Yeah. So usually when you use the word 闭关, it's a bit more formal, and it usually also means solitude retreat. So usually they may not even have contact with others. So in the various traditions, at some point, such a practice developed, where individuals, usually the sangha, they will embark on like 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years retreat, where they live in isolation. Yeah, I should say it's not a bad practice, but we must have enough basis in the teachings before we embark in such a practice. From the Buddha's time, there is virtually no mention of this kind of long-term retreats, where it's like 1 year or 3 years. No. The longest is the 3 months retreat. And even during the 3 months, they have interaction with other monks. It's just that they don't travel from places to places. Yeah. But having said that, our monastery is very isolated. So I was there for 3 to 4 years. Relative isolation. Yeah. Like this number of people is enough for the whole year. Yeah. For the whole of 1 year, I probably don't meet so many people, excluding the fellow monks. Yeah, I don't meet that many people in the whole year. On a busy month, we have 2 visitors for the whole month. That's a busy month. Yeah, normally nobody come out. If you are staying by yourself, single, staying by yourself, you can try. Yeah, 1 day, 1 whole day. Beforehand, you prepare your food. Yeah, turn off your handphone, turn off your computer, turn off your TV, and then do your practices. You all can also try half day. Yeah, half day, then 1 day. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, if not, 愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿得智慧真明了，
愿得智慧真明了，
普愿罪障悉消除，
普愿罪障悉消除，
世世常行菩萨道。
世世常行菩萨道。
阿弥陀佛。